fans, welcome back. This is Scott representing Youth Potential. Today I'm really excited. I've been planning on doing this video for such a long time, and today I've got the motivation and the time to get around to doing it. And today is the first video in potentially a new series, depending on how well received this one is. And it's the top 10 bands that drown out the noise inside my head. So if you're wondering what that means, it's if you ask basically someone who suffers with depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, or other mental health issues or disorders, sometimes you just feel like there's this noise in your head, and that's the way I describe it. And what I mean by that is it's like you have a load of thoughts that are really unpleasant, that are just grinding inside your head and driving you mad, or making you feel like crap, or just making you frustrated and angry. Or maybe there's a voice inside your head that is bullying you or keeps manipulating you or trying to haunt you. If you're someone like that, or you know, you at least know where I'm coming from, you've experienced that, then awesome. But these are the 10 bands that I go to most, that I can listen to, that really drown that static, that noise inside my head, because these bands are noisy. Now I've chosen these 10 bands based upon how good their discography is. Like, I personally believe all the bands that I've picked in this top 10 list have got, every album is awesome, and they're the 10 bands that I go to the most to drown out the noise inside my head. They're not necessarily my 10 favourite bands, they're not necessarily the 10 best bands, and I've used the phrase metal in the title of this video just because it's an easier way of covering the whole spectrum, rather than saying my top 10 deathcore, grindcore, death metal, death grind bands that drown out the noise in my head. It's just easier just to say metal, okay? And I know there's going to be plenty of people saying these bands aren't metal, but I don't give a shit. They drown out noise in my head, and I think they're fucking awesome. Before I continue, I'd just like to give a big shout out to an Instagram profile that I follow called Self-Harmer Problems. She does all sorts of things to do with self-harm coping skills, and one of her posts called Self-Harm Coping Skill Listen to Metal inspired me to do this video. So please go and check out her profile. It's below. Just check her out. If you're someone that struggles with self-harm, that is the profile to go if you use Instagram. I absolutely love her account. Hands down my favourite. So thank you. Anyway, enjoy the video. Number 10 is Misery Index. One of my favourite, if not, no, they are my favourite death grind band of all time. I've been listening to them for about 9 years when I first discovered Discordia. Amazing album. It's my favourite album by them. But yeah, they're just so intense. Their drummer, Adam Jarvis, awesome guy. Can really fucking play the drums really well. But yeah, they're fast. They're quite groovy at times. And yeah, they do a really good job at drowning the noise inside my head. Number 9 is Slipknot. I know there's going to be plenty of people watching this thinking either, yes, Slipknot, or, oh, really? So Slipknot, I've been listening to since like the days of the Iowa album. And I'm only choosing Slipknot on this list because the first 2 albums, strictly speaking, the second and third album, the self-titled album and Iowa, they were so intense, really angry, and near enough every track on those albums are just fucking awesome. Yeah, especially things like Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out, People Equal Shit, My Plague. Really good set of tracks. Just great albums in total. But yeah, they just, that anger from Corey Taylor's vocals just does a great job of just silencing the noise in my head.
Face motherfuckers, I ain't so bad. I am bad. Just let me fucking let's go. Because you can't stop me from breaking your face into alibis. It's hey motherfucker, hey motherfucker, hey the wrong man. You as bad. You as bad.
Number 8 is Rotten Sound. Now, I got into these guys when I was just getting into grindcore. You know, when you get into a music genre, you Wikipedia it and see what bands come up in the list. And I found Rotten Sound, and I was blown away. I discovered them when the Cycles album had just come out, and I remember listening to it for the first time. I think Days to Kill was the first track on that album I listened to, and it was pummeling. I was like, whoa, this is insane. This is awesome. They done an album last year that was really, really good as well. First one they'd done in about 5 years, I think. Yeah, just the drumming in this band, just absolutely, that can silence anything inside your head. Really fucking cool band. Number 7 is August Burns Red, one of the first ever metalcore bands that I got into back in late 2007, I think it was, just after the Messengers album came out. I've been following them non-stop ever since. They never let me down. Their album they brought out this year, Phantom Anthems, was so impressed by it. Probably the best one, in my opinion, since Messengers came out. But yeah, the Messengers album, that is the one that you want to get into first. If you want to get into this band, it's so intense, it's well produced, just loads of great breakdowns and guitar solos, great vocals and lyrics as well. I got to see them this year play the whole Messengers album, and it was one of the best nights of my life. Absolutely cracking stuff. But yeah, listen to August Burns Red, they're fucking awesome.
No matter what is your decision, no matter what is your decision, this isn't something you can do alone. Go. No matter what, it's your decision. Give up, give in.
Number 6 is After the Burial. Definitely one of the slowest band, probably the slowest band on this list. I got into them very, very, very late last year, even though I'd already seen them once. And I just think they're so catchy. Their progressive metalcore, deathcore, whatever you want to call it, style is just so good. And the vocals, I really love that style. And it just, I don't know, it's just the grooviness and the heaviness of it. Even though it's slow, it still has that crunching, crushing sound that can silence any static in my head. And they're just so good. And I saw them live again a couple of months ago with Die Is Murder, and they were fucking amazing. Such an exciting band to see live. Even if you're not into the progressive style, like, I think they're still really fun to listen to. And all of their albums are absolutely cracking stuff. Number 5 is Parkway Drive, easily my most favourite metalcore band of all time. I've seen them more live than any other band. I've seen them about 14 times. They never let me down. But I'm mostly focusing on their early material in terms of drowning out the noise in my head. Obviously, I love all of their albums, hand down, but Killing With a Smile, absolutely amazing album. It's just so intense. It's really good in a melodic sense as well. It's exciting. I think if you want to try and get into metalcore, Parkway Drive are a great band to start with. Yeah, they're fun and they're energetic as well, and I think that's what gives me a good vibe to just make me feel better about myself and just ignore any dark thoughts that I have.
See every second that you waste, this time you never live again. Fight for your life, fight for your life. There is a price to pay.
out is Murder, another Australian band, probably one of the most well-received deathcore bands on the planet at the moment. I was listening to them back in 2008 when MySpace was a thing, and they just had that Infinite Death EP. And then they went quiet for a little bit, and then they came back with CJ as the vocalist, and they've just been on a roll for world domination ever since. But they're so intense. Yeah, loads of people say they're just generic deathcore, but I don't care. I've been listening to them for a long time. They do a great job of pounding my eardrums in, and then nothing gets, no negative thoughts inside my head, just their music, and it makes me just feel fucking awesome. Number 3 is Carnufex, hands down my favourite deathcore band of all time. Been listening to them ever since their second album, The Disease and the Poisons, came out, and just ever since, like, I just love their songs. I think they're one of the oldest and most consistent deathcore bands. Okay, they've had a couple of iffy songs, but overall they're so fucking good. They're so good live, lots of energy, and just the songs are crushing. There's plenty of exciting guitar solos, and Scott Lewis's vocals as well are just so, for me, empowering, and I love listening to it. Sometimes I really struggle to walk about in the streets in public. I'm listening to Carnufex and I'm like this walking about, and people must think, what's that guy on? But yeah, they're groovy, they're heavy, they're fucking awesome, and yes, they drown out the noise in my fucking head. Number 2 is Pig Destroyer. Now, Pig Destroyer were the first grindcore band I ever listened to, and to this day they are my favourite grindcore band of all time. I've been very fortunate to see them perform once in London. It was fucking awesome. One of the best gigs I've ever been to, hands down. And their discography is just so good. I mean, I think for, you know, grindcore sometimes really struggles to be creative and original, but I think Pig Destroyer do a great job. The Prowler in the Yard album, hands down my favourite metal album of all time. It's just non-stop. The production work is so gritty and raw, and the drumming is just insane, and Scott Hull's guitar work is pretty exciting for as far as grindcore goes, and J.R. Hayes, his vocals just shrieking. It really is the epitome of noise, in my opinion, but they do such a great job of just silencing any dark thoughts I have in my head and just bringing me peace. Well, as far as grindcore can do, anyway.
The body is ready. The body is ready.
Mommy, they're coming.
And number 1 is, that's it, Agoraphobic Nose. What can I say about this band? If you've never listened to them before, go and check them out, okay? They've got some amazing setup, okay? You've got a drum machine which just absolutely pummels your eardrums, absolutely. There is no way any mental noise is going to be inside your head when you're listening to Agoraphobic Nosebleed, okay? Again, Scott Hull with Pig Destroyer, it was one of his first bands, and he does the drum programming, he does the guitar work for them, and they are so good. Vocally, they're just so intense. Their songs are really short, and it just blasts you and hammers at you and hacks at you, and you can't listen to them without anything going through your head other than the music that's going in your headphones or through your eardrums. They're just so intense. They're fucking awesome, okay? And they've got so many songs. Listen to Agoraphobic, great album, but personally my favourite is Altered States of America. 99 tracks on that album, and it will just blow you away. It is so intense. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like this video. All the best.